Are you ready? Relationships are a funny thing. If I were to ask you, what is the best relationship you have, and who is it with, and what do you get out of it, and why are you in this relationship? I think you would take a moment and ponder on those questions, right? So, what I want to talk about today is a vital relationship, a relationship with you, and the relationship you have with your inner guidance system, with you and your emotional self, the emotions that trigger and cause you to be this sub persona, or they cause you to be an altered ego, or they cause you to be someone that is hidden inside of you. When we talk about a relationship, we talk about an inner connection with you and someone else. What I keep on seeing through the years that I've been working with my audience and with my clients and with my friends and those people around me is that it's very evident that there is a pattern of consciousness that extends you to be connected to somebody else first. So what do I mean by that? So what I've seen is that we are in the habit as human beings that when we meet somebody is we have a default pattern. We default to somebody else's need. We default to what they think about us. We default to how they see us. We default to the feelings around this relationship. And this causes emotional barriers in our energy fields and how we are acting out who we are. And this is a great point of conversation, as I want to really raise your awareness to the relationship that needs your attention the most with any relationship you have outside of you, being a mother, a father, or a sister, or a brother, or an auntie, or a co-worker, or a friend, or any of those people, is you've got to look at your relationship first. And I know that that is easier said than done, because it really causes you to refocus your attention of what is needed. And let me give you an example with this. So as a mother, we default to our children by their needs, or by our giving, or by the nurture, or by mostly by what we want or need for ourselves first, right? So in saying that, we often forget to sink in with ourselves, how we connected, how we seeing ourselves, and how we communicating to how we connect with our children, or with a friend, or with a co-worker, or with a partner. Why is this so important? I want to raise your attention to the reason that this is important is because there is a gap in separation between you being who you are and then you being who you think you need to be. And the difference between you centered and balanced and you in the thought process of who you think you need to be creates a separation and distortion. And you can't, it is short-lived. It's not that you can't, you can, but it starts creating a lot of emotional turmoil, leaving you with undercurrent energy that sometimes creates distorted angers. And this is where we had come to realize that I've been asked, Vanda, will you just speak a little bit about what causes me to be so angry when I really don't want to be angry? And I have to say that those distorted feelings and emotional distortions come from your emotional balance being ignored. So let's take this to the next step. We are all emotional beings. Some of us are far more emotional, expansive, sensitive, in tuned, empathic, but we are all sensitive and intuitive, some more so than others, but that doesn't mean that we are not all emotional beings. We are all with an emotional trigger system. Our emotions are our inner guidance. Our emotions give us triggers if we are feeling happy or if we're feeling sad, right? It is up to you to discern and to know, okay, where you are playing the game and where you are influencing or triggering your own responsiveness or your own reactiveness to the gap within you. This is important because a lot of people are in therapy, for example, or they are taking medication, or they are over-concerned and trapped in a maze because of certain relationships in their lives that they feel they are victims of. And the truth is that all relationships start with the relationship within you. So I want to have this conversation in raising your awareness to what is the most important relationship that you can have? One, the relationship that you are having with yourself. What is the next observation that you want to have is the relationship with you and how you best know who you are being through understanding your emotional guidance system. A lot of people are suppressing their angers and becoming internally aggressive because they are ignoring the signals of a simple flare out of an anger. And then they want to suppress it and cut it out of their lives when that anger is an emotional signal that you're just not happy. There is no emotional point of anger that will ever be peaceful and happy because that's not its job. The job of this emotional trigger is to be angry and to signal you when you are angry, just as much as the job is of when you are happy. When your signal flares out and gives you that vibrancy and that happy-go-lucky feeling that you are free and you are the creator of your life and you're joyful and you're skipping and jumping all over the place, that is your trigger and your ray of light that is going, I'm happy. It's just as important as the one that is saying, I'm angry. It's how you are tuned in and connected to understand your emotional well-being. Cutting your anger out doesn't serve you or your emotional evolution of self. And the word evolution comes from you growing and understanding that every emotion has its place. There's a time to be happy, and there's a time to understand that sadness has touched you. Now, for you to ignore that you're sad might not be the answer, but for you to stay sad in an overextended time period is ignoring the laws of the universe and understanding that if you're ignoring your overstaying power in that emotion, then you've got to be responsible that you are too creating an unnecessary sadness in your life, because it is your responsibility to understand your emotional well-being and what brings you into those states of emotion. There's such a big confusion about who we are as emotional beings. And this could come from a lot of different things. The way we are brought up, our social settings, our parents, our schooling, our structures, our infrastructures, our own DNA, how we're connecting ourselves, the courage that we come with, the confidence. All these things are attributes. But that's what makes us special. That is the sense of who we are and who we're becoming that makes us truly unique to this opportunity to live the life that we want. There is no right and wrong. You can be sad. just as much as you can be happy. It's your choice though, and it's your responsibility how you create from. Your relationship with your sadness and your relationship with your happiness is your doing. As you create both and are tuned into both, it is your choice of how you understand who you're being in this moment. What I see too often is that people that are sad are becoming victims of their own self-created awareness, and they seem to not be able to disengage from a deepened seated sadness that now is layering in and making them heavier and sadder, and now going into very depressed states, because sadness can only attract sad conversations, sad stories, sad endings, a sad coffee day, a sad friend, a sad advert, something that's going to bring some kind of sadness, a memory of a sad title, whatever it is. But those are the laws of the universe, just as much as you carry the law of your own emotional guidance system to help you grow and develop and evolve along your own journey of your own life. So let's just take this back a few steps. How is your relationship with yourself? Are you in sync with who you are to your heartbeat? Are you happy by nature, or are you sad by nature? If you answer that you are sad by nature, then I'm going to invite you today to question that emotion and that self-evaluation, because it might be that you have overstayed your welcome in that seat of that emotion, because no one truly comes in sad. You have the ability to experience sadness with the emotional ability to counteract and bring in this connection of this emotional body and emotional well-being that truly connects you. But when you're connected to the center of your inner well-being and you're lined up to your core, this means that you're connected, you're seeing your higher connection with yourself, you're communicating this inner connection of love and joy and prosperity. And when you are in those spaces, you can't be in the seat of sadness at the same time. What this means is that there has been a separation, and now you are emulating. You have harmonized with the sadness, with this emotion, a little bit too much. All it needs is a realignment, a shaking up, if you may, a dusting off of those sadness and those experiences, writing them down, burning them, de-shackling yourself from those beliefs. But you knowing that that is not your true core emotion, that the sadness is a guidance system. It's letting you know that is a sad moment. It comes from your empathy. It comes from you being sensitive, intuitive, and in aligned with your emotional guidance system. This is the opportunity for you to have the relationship with yourself and then be able to bring yourself back to balance so that you can be in true appreciation of who you are and the ability to experience all emotions without getting lost in the maze of sadness or get lost in the maze of anger or all those other emotions that kind of ruffle your feathers, distort your reality, create undercurrents. Because these are valuable gifts to you. These are things that you're learning, you're experiencing, and you're growing. This is the relationship you want to look at. Because when you are in tune with yourself and you have a healthy relationship, when you're truthful with yourself, you're connecting, you're acknowledging, you're able to breathe in and release those aspects of yourself and emotional traits that you've allowed to feel, and then you're able to bring yourself back from a place of empowerment, well, then you are in sync. And from this place, there is no relationship that you can have with your mother, with your father, with your friends, with your co-workers, with your siblings, your offspring, your children, that is not going to be relevant, on purpose, meaningful, and balanced from a true core aspect of love. That is what relationships are about. Relationships are not about you faking aspects of yourself until you make it. Those days are so far gone. In this time of the Grand Awakening, it is time and it is important that you focus within, that you know who you are, that you're able to bring it back to your center, to your core, and have a true relationship with yourself. Because when you do, everything else around you shifts. And everything else then harmonizes with this integrity and this authenticity and the space of love and benevolence and this magical thread that we all have, and the bridges that exist to support you to creating this experience of life that is magnificent, not the contrast. Now, I'm not saying that we don't experience the contrast, we do. But it's not for us to stay there. And it's not for us to be medicated and subdued in spaces that we lose ourselves against ourselves. This is a conversation and just an opportunity for me to sprinkle some dust, for you to create a different perspective about your relationship with yourself. Look at your relationship with yourself with new eyes. Look at your relationship with yourself with the ability to come from a higher perspective, a knowing and a worth that is so grand, so divine, so magical, that it's truly unbreakable. And it has the expansion for you to go and experience the contrast. But then you've got to bring yourself back. You cannot bring yourself back when you're harmonizing with other people's needs first. It doesn't work that way. It's not lasting or everlasting. It gives you other experiences. So, with that, stay tuned to how you're feeling and look at this relationship as an opportunity for you to build the grandest rainbow around it.